Welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, your weekly dose of what's new and what's nude in movies, TV, and Hollywood's sexiest stars. Now get ready for your host, the world's foremost authority on celebrity nudity, Mr. Skin.
The legendary Mr. Skin.
Mr. Skin. Dude, Mr. Skin.
MrSkin.com.
Skin, everybody.
Coast to coast from Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, it's the Mr. Skin Podcast with your hosts, Mr. Skin and Andrea Lowell. We want to hear from you. Call the show and leave us a voicemail at 484-SKIN-POD. Find all things Mr. Skin Podcast online at MrSkinPodcast.com.
Welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, sponsored by the devious minds behind Kink.com, along with Doc Johnson, America's #1 sex toy brand. Together, the diabolical duo has created the Kink line, a line of amazing fetish products ranging from couples toys to BDSM gear that's perfect for every level of experience. When you go to kink.com today and enter the code SKIN at checkout, you'll get 20% off your first purchase. That's 20% off the best kinky gear around. Kink by Doc Johnson will bring the dungeon right into your bedroom. Hey, Skin, how are you, love?
Doing great, Andrew. I've actually been to the Armory in San Francisco to see the Kink operation. It is
That's so cool.
Oh, but we've talked, I think I've mentioned to you the tubs of lube, the industrial strength tubs of lube.
Yeah, that I just want to like go take a bath in and like swim in and play in.
Oh my God, it's amazing. But yeah, nobody does it better than Kink. And again, the sponsors we're getting for this show are some of the biggest in the skin industry. So very happy Kink.com is a partner, a advertiser on the Mr. Skin podcast. Remember to if you just enter skin at checkout, you get 20% off. Very, very nice of them. Good guys over there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely go there, do that, because why buy toys full price when you can get a skin discount?
Yes, exactly. So how have you been, Andrew? I haven't talked to you in a week. Everything good?
You know, I've been well. I've been, I don't know if it's all this nudity we're talking about every week, but I feel like it's really increasing my own personal sex life.
Really?
Oh,
Good
yeah.
for you.
It's just, I've been a wild freak lately and I'm loving it. And I would like to say and like to give credit that it's because we're always talking about the hottest of the hot nudity. And I just have this eye for it. You know, whatever I'm watching, whatever I'm looking at, I'm just always looking for the hot boobs, hot butts. And when, hotness and sexiness is on your mind 24/7, it kind of, will trickle down into your private life. So thank you, Skin. You're doing the Lord's work.
My pleasure. Well, and I got to say, like a hot week at your place is like 10 times hotter than normal house in America. So good for you.
Thank you. Thank you. How have you been?
Good, very good. Just girls home from camp on Saturday, so now we got a full house at the Skin house. So we had one. My son was home all summer, so it was me, Mrs. Skin, and him. And now they were gone for 4 weeks, so they're back. And as you can imagine, it's great to have the whole family back.
Oh, for sure, but probably a little less kink going on now that the whole.
I'm the opposite. I'm going to head into some very slow weeks ahead with 3 kids at home. So all these people that have like their kid, because I got married later, so I have a ton of friends who have kids that have gotten married or away at college. I can't imagine what it's like to just be you and the wife at home with no kids around. It's got to be amazing sexually.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing to get in your way or distract you or be worrying about, for sure.
Yeah, because we got to lock the door. We got to, it's just, what are you going to do? So I'm not complaining.
Have you ever been walked in on by a kid?
Not yet, but I've had horror stories from friends, and it's because think about it. When we were kids, what was the worst thing that could possibly happen in your life as a kid is to walk in on your parents having sex. I mean, there's nothing worse. And I've heard some bad stories from friends. Did you ever walk in on your parents by chance?
No, when I was a kid, I didn't even know what sex was.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I would have seen it or heard it, I wouldn't even have known what was going on.
Yeah.
I was very sheltered.
No,
which
but
might
then there's
explain
that
a few
age where you
things.
do, and there is that age where you finally figure it out, and then you really don't want to walk. Because as kids, you want to imagine your parents never have sex,
Exactly.
And then you think, and then when you're like, okay, so then there's me who now I'm a grown up, and I'm thinking, well, why would my kids think it's gross if I had sex? But I don't care who you are. Every kid would be grossed out by their parents having sex.
It's gross. And now that I'm older, I can appreciate when my parents peck each other or hug each other. I'm like, oh, how cute. They still like each other. But anything beyond that, I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to.
Well, yeah. And we all as kids were like, okay, we have 3 kids in the family or 4 kids in the family. We know they've had sex at least 4 times, but that's it. They never did it again.
Just for procreation purposes.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of sex, we got a lot to get to, and there's some movie stuff and then of course TV stuff, but then we have some nudity nuggets that I think you're really going to like, which I'm anxious to share with you. But let me start with the one movie release that I really wanted to talk about. So this movie Snatched is a comedy starring Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn plays her mother.
Love Goldie Hawn.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the movie came out in May. I think it was May 12th. And it's out on Blu-ray now. It came out last Tuesday. And it did not get good reviews, but we at MrSkin.com never care if a movie's good or bad. We love, we love all movies if there is a nude scene. And the significant moment or skinificant moment in this happens 27 minutes in. So Amy Schumer's all drunk. She's with this guy, and they're kind of ending the night, and they're thinking about hooking up. And she is so messed up that in all the fun and excitement, she doesn't realize while she's talking to him, her whole right boob popped out of her dress. And I think we have it on a GIF for you to check out.
Yes.
And it's pretty, we always knew Amy Schumer would have nice big boobers, but good to see it. And we, as you know, Andrea, we're a big supporter of women's rights.
Of course. Absolutely. Free that nipple. Having been drunk several times in my life, too many times to count. I've been this person. I've been Amy Schumer, where your titty's totally out. You don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh God. It is. You know what? It's like, who cares? But
now,
at the same point, it's so embarrassing.
Girls have I would think
everyone
smaller
has this.
Oh, so you're saying like any girls had a whole pop out though, like Amy Schumer, like a whole pop out?
It depends on the outfit, and it usually is the issue of the shirt you have on or if you're not wearing a bra. But it's typically when it's kind of very low cut in the front or loose and you don't have a bra on, your whole boob will be out. When the fabric's real thin, you can't really feel it.
Okay.
It's kind of almost like silk or like lingerie or something, and it already feels breezy. So when
I was
the
going to
titty's
say,
out,
how about I get the cold breeze would be a tip off, right?
But it's just like, when you're wasted, you're just,
true.
your body's hot. You don't care. You're not. And how many times in our life do we look straight down at our chest? Very, very infrequently. So it's kind of something you don't even realize. So I would say nip slips are much more common for every person. But the whole titty flop out specifically for being wasted.
That's interesting. And we did I know at the website, we've done lists before where we called them women's rights, where only right breasts are out in a scene. And obviously now Amy Schumer has to be added. I love it. It has to be added to this. But like past girls on that list, like Julia Roberts, an hour and 35 minutes into Pretty Woman, you could see her right breast only. Fran Dresser in Cadillac Man with Robin Williams, about 7 minutes in, you could see right breast only. And then even Betsy Brandt, who played Hank's wife on Breaking Bad, she was on Masters of Sex. Her new debut featured just right breast. So it's a cool list. We have a bunch of those at our website, but Amy Schumer, not only was this only right breast, but it's her nude debut like those other actresses. So definitely on the women's rights list. Anyway, so that was cool.
Well, I do have a question for you though. Do you have like a left wing side? Because like my left boob is a little bit bigger than my right. So if I were going to do like a solo titty, like nude movie scene, I would go left boob all the way because you want your biggest boob to be shown.
That's interesting. Is it like, when you say it's bigger, like how much bigger? Like it's like cup or a half a cup?
No, you've seen my titties. It's like, when you put your hands together and one is like slightly bigger.
Okay.
It's like that. There's always one that's a little dominant. And no matter who you are. Now, I've seen women in my personal life that have like crazy asymmetry where one's a B, one's a D. That's a real thing. 100%.
Those are like...
Yeah.
Oh, we call the ones that are in different directions like Marty Feldman's. What would you call? What would you call when one's like not lopsided? We got to come up with a name.
Lopsy.
Like I'm talking about where it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Mistits. I don't know what we would call them.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Yeah, because like the misfits of the titties, it's mistits.
Yeah. But it has to be where it's really different, like not like where you got to like feel it to tell the difference. I'm talking like at just glancing, you'd be like, oh my God, that's a D and that's a B. That's weird.
But you've
makes
seen
me girls
wonder.
With that because I don't think I've seen it like with real boobs.
Yes, most people get it corrected, and they get it corrected by getting a lift in one and a single like crescent shaped implant in the other. Okay. I've seen completely different boobs where one's like super, super perky and one's super, super saggy. And it's just, something people are born with. But it makes me wonder, these actresses that do like the one titty thing, not Amy, because it's part of the movie that her tits out, she doesn't know. But it makes me wonder if the actresses who are fine with having the one boob out don't have the other boob out because of asymmetry.
Wow, I don't know. I've never
such
really
a
put
deep
much
thinker,
thought to it. Yeah, no, this is very important. This is very important. Anyway, so Amy Schumer in Snatched is out on Blu-ray. Always big when an actress makes her nude debut. We've been waiting to get some nudity. We figured, with all the R-rated movies she does, Trainwreck and all this other, that she'd eventually do a nude scene. So anyway, and it's a big boober. So very happy Amy Schumer's naked. Now, let me get to a bunch of TV stuff because there is tons to get to. And let me start with, we mentioned last week, it was kind of cool that The Sinner, the show on the USA Network on Wednesday nights with Jessica Biel, we were psyched that in the very first episode, she was... Well, the bottom line is she has these violent outbursts, so they can't explain it. And in the very first episode of the new series, she ends up murdering someone. And I'm not giving anything away because the whole point of the show is to figure out why she did it, if she did it. But it sounds like she did, but they want to know why. The first two episodes getting some pretty good reviews. I've heard mentioned that it might be like True Detective-ish type quality, but regardless, in the very first episode, Jessica Biel was naked, showing butt in the shower at the precinct after, with her bloody hand, she had to get all cleaned up. So, and as I told you last week, she has one of the best butts in Hollywood, no question about it.
Hell yeah!
But in the second episode, it was kind of cool because the guy that plays her husband's name's Christopher Abbott, and he was fantasizing about a past sex scene they had, and you could see it in the GIF we have. But not only on the USA Network does he pull her panties off, she turns just enough so you can't see bush, but you do see side butt. But then he goes down on her, and I think it's some really hot stuff for USA Network. I'm digging The Sinner so far.
Yeah, it's pretty explicit, even though you can't see anything. I think anytime there's oral sex, even if you can't see it, if it's simulation, it's so much more explicit than just seeing people bone, even if it is simulation. I don't know if that's just my personal opinion, but whenever I see someone's face, either in someone's ass or someone's crotch, I'm just like, damn, this is like XXX, even though we're not seeing anything.
Right, because we've seen this many times on Girls with Allison Williams. And anyway, but yeah, so he's going to dinner on The Sinner.
Eat it up,
pretty
boo.
good. Let's just say it's like, it's not like, these are one of those things where it's technically it's not nude because you can only see side butt, but his face, he pulls her underwear down and his face is in her vagina and it's Jessica Biel. I think it's really a hot scene. And
100%.
if you haven't seen the show, we're all over it at Mr. Skin. So check it out. It airs Wednesday nights on USA Network and 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so really hot stuff. So Jessica Biel in the center.
And I do want to mention real quick, just because I've done some like foot fetish modeling in the past. If anyone listening has a foot fetish, Jessica has a nice toe point at the beginning of this scene.
Yes.
And they do a nice pan up on those feet for you guys.
Have we talked about your foot fetish thing?
No, we don't have to. Moving on.
But you're right. As I'm watching this GIF, she does
start.
You call that a toe curl? You call that a toe curl?
I mean, when you point the toe, toe curl.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Sure.
Anyway, so that's the Sinner on USA Network. Now, we also talked about, we didn't talk about this last week, but Sunday night last week and this week there's 2 episodes in, but Ray Donovan is back on Showtime.
Hallelujah. I love that show.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's been weird, though, the first couple episodes because I assume Paula Malcolmson died of cancer in the between season 1 and season 2. They haven't been very clear, but I think that's the case. But whatever, that's Liv Schreiber's wife on it. But the big news has been Natalie Lily Simmons is kind of spiraling out of control. She's this girl that she's like an actress playing an actress on a real life actress on the show, and Liv Schreiber sees her in a gossip like paparazzi TV show, and that some nude photos of her leaked, so they blur it out, but because they're watching it on network television. But he checks it out, and I should point out Lily Simmons, who is in these couple episodes of Ray Donovan. We are huge fans of at MrSkin.com because of her role in Banshee, another great show with nudity. And in Banshee, she had one of the, I think it was season 2, episode 2, had one of the great masturbation scenes on cable television history. Yeah, it's really good. This Lily Simmons is gorgeous. She's in her early 30s. I think she's from San Diego, and she's been on Banshee. She was in True Detective. She was nude in True Detective. Anyway, she's going to be on this season on Ray Donovan, and only underwear so far, but we're big fans at MrSkin.com.
Absolutely. Maybe she can parlay those masturbatory acting skills onto the Ray Donovan, because I would. I can't guarantee I'll go back and find and seek out that episode of Banshee, but I'm sure you have it on MrSkin.com.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I don't need to do any of that. I'm just going to go right to MrSkin.com and go to the good parts.
Yeah, we have a nice.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, we got everything from that show. So anyway, also wanted to point out that Episodes is back. The show on Showtime with Matt LeBlanc.
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't actually watched it. I've seen a couple when it first started, but I haven't followed it just because I don't have enough time. But should I squeeze it in?
Well, yeah, it's actually been really good. There's been a lot of, I shouldn't say it's one of the best shows for nudity, but it's one of those where when they have nude scenes, they're always really good. And Episodes, so I said Matt LeBlanc is the star of it, but they're in their 5th season already on Showtime. And what they did is the actual episode, the actual first episode of Episodes will air August 20th, Sunday night, but they released the season 5 premiere. They do this a lot now. If you're a subscriber to Showtime, you could access it. So, of course, we get all this stuff. And there were some really good scenes. So Matt LeBlanc has a successful game show called The Box, where he puts people inside of glass boxes. And this Sarah Armstrong, no one that you've ever heard of or know from probably anything else, she's a contestant on the show. And she won something where she got to choose an amenity. And she chose to have a hot shower. And she has this hot shower in the box, and everyone freezes. Now, she's in her underwear, but it's some really sexy stuff. And as you can see, it's going to be our definitely a candidate for our best wet T-shirt of 2017. So she does that. And then later on, after kind of the set has closed down and everything, she's still, for some reason, in the box, and Matt LeBlanc walks by, and she kind of seduces him. She takes her panties off and puts her butt right against the glass, and he's like putting his face right up against the glass. It's a really hot scene. So I can tell you that Sarah Armstrong will make your arms strong if you watch this scene many times, because she really is a hot nudecomer at MrSkin.com, and we're happy to share this great nudity. And by the way, you can't see this until Sunday night on television, but we have the early previews of this. It's really good stuff.
You know what? And with so much just oversaturation in our world of just straight nudity, I love the wet T-shirt, the wet white tank top. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be anything really too much hotter than that when it's completely soaked like this. I don't know what it is about it. There's just something. You don't
see him as much. I think you saw him more in the older days. No question. Jacqueline Bissett in the Deep is kind of the holy grail of wet T-shirts, but there's been some great ones. Carrie Russell in 8 Days a Week is one we really love here at MrSkin.com. Have you ever been in a wet T-shirt contest in your day?
That's a good question, because I don't remember. So probably
right.
yes. I know that at work, working at like Playboy TV, I've done wet T-shirt stuff, but I don't know. And in photo shoots, I don't know if I've actually participated in a real one. But I know I've done it for work. So I don't know.
Well, it's interesting, because I remember when I was in college, I went to Fort Lauderdale, and I saw my first wet T-shirt contest. This was like 1985, right? So I'm there. And I remember the one thing, I was so excited to see girls in wet T-shirts, and then I was blown away that they'd rip their shirts and show their boobs. It was more than a wet T-shirt contest. But what kind of bummed me out is then I'd go to like another bar for a wet T-shirt, and a lot of the same girls would go, like they almost made the circuit. Like that's how they made their money, because there was big cash, like $500 or something to win. These girls would come in from out of town, 20-something professionals with big natural boobs, and come to these things and win these wet T-shirt contests. But that was my only disappointment, was like you'd see like the same 2 or 3 girls at every different bar instead of new girls. What to me was more exciting is when actual college girls would get up there thinking, this is before. This is before the internet and before cell phones, and they'd get up there. No one's ever going to see this again, and they'd jump up on stage and do it. And that, to me, was really thrilling. But you'd also get the girls that were professionals that would do it. But, yeah, I've been to some, and great memories of that for me from college.
Well, I'm glad you had such fond memories.
Yeah, well.
No, but there's something, we still remember those moments. It's like there's just something so deeply sexy about it. And I'm a big fan of wet T-shirts all day.
Yeah, so anyway, that's the girl on that show episodes. Sarah Armstrong was her name. You'll see it Sunday night, so check it out. So, Andrea, before we move on with the show, why don't you tell our listeners more about our great sponsors?
Oh, well, I'd love to. So now I know I'm not the only one who likes to get a little kinky every once in a while, but it can be so hard to know where to buy the right toys. So that's where kink.com and Doc Johnson come in. Kink has always been known for their amazing BDSM scenes, and Doc Johnson has some of the best toys around. So you can imagine what kind of stuff they come up with when they collaborate. So right now you can get 20% off your first kink line purchase when you go to kink.com and use the promo code SKIN. That's 20% off everything from insertables to BDSM gear, all made with super high quality, body safe materials. You don't have to be a pro to use this stuff either. It's just as awesome for newbies to get into the kink scene. And the deal doesn't last forever though. So head on over to kink.com now to peruse their awesome gear and take 20% off using the code SKIN. That's SKIN as soon as you can.
You will need that SKIN for your first purchase at Kink, Andrea. You're going to need it. Yeah.
I always need skin in my life.
No, you do. No, they're great. So thanks again to the great people at Kink for sponsoring the Mr. Skin podcast. Very, very cool.
For sure.
Yes. Andrea, there's a couple more TV things I wanted to get to. You know, Twin Peaks on Showtime is still going strong. They're 14 episodes in. Last night they had a. So I think they're 14 episodes into to this. They're calling it the third season, which is so weird because the first two seasons were like in 1990 and 91. Right. So they're calling this the third season, but this is the first, Showtime season. So anyway, there was this is a good news, bad news nude scene. So these cops are trudging through these foggy woods and they stumble upon Nato, I think that's how you pronounce her name on the show. Her name is Nae Yuki. Her real name is Nae Yuki. She's an Asian actress. She is passed out on the ground, very nude, showing her butt. But then when the police officer turns her over, we not only see her breasts, but she has no eyes. She's just a face with no eyes.
That's crazy.
So anyway, not the hottest nude scene of 2017, but definitely keep an eye open for that one. It's Nae Yuki nude in Twin Peaks, but not the sexiest nude scene of the year. But I did want to point that out if anyone was wondering who that girl is.
She does have a great body, but once you see the eye thing or the lack of eye thing,
Yeah, because you can see it in the pictures. It's a little weird. Now, she
a little creepy.
Was acting. She did not get her eyes really ripped out. So anyway, so those are her real breasts and butts. Yeah, it's good to know. Hey, one last thing about television. Do you know this show Insecure on HBO?
Not at all.
Oh,
not
my
at
God.
all.
Yeah, it stars Issa Rae. It's about the... I think, they're in their second season. It's about kind of the awkward experiences and tribulations of being an African-American woman. I don't want to say it's girls for black people, but it's like, I don't know. It's a cool show, and it critically does well. I don't hear a ton of people talking about it, but because we were talking about it in the office today, too, that we don't get... like screeners of this, or we don't know in advance what's going to happen on Secure, which we found very strange because a lot of shows we get tipped off in advance, but for some reason this show was like we almost have to find it out when you find it out, which is cool. But yeah, it's on HBO Sunday nights, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. It's called Insecure, and the weird thing is, Issa Rae, I think she's skin secure because she's the star of the show and she hasn't gotten naked, but they've had some really good nudity, including last night. What a wild threesome. Andrea, you'd be blown away by this threesome. So,
I'm watching it right now, baby. I'm watching it right now.
Oh my God. And I'm going to need your help on a name for something. But so Jay Ellis is one of the few regular, reoccurring guys on the show, and he goes home with these two women that he meets. I think they were at a grocery store or something. So he somehow gets these two girls to come back for an incredible skin-racial threesome. And what's interesting, when you start, and by the way, the scene goes on for 2 minutes. So he is laying on his back. All three of them are completely naked. He's naked. He's laying on his back. One girl, True Collins, is sitting on his face, facing the other girl who's riding him, facing the other way. And and I don't know what do you call that when you have a guy on his back? I know it's like a teeter-totter, but I think we do better.
I mean, it's an Eiffel Tower, but with girls, because usually you would call that an Eiffel Tower with when guys do it in a threesome. But when the girls are both riding, so there's one riding face, one riding dick, and they're facing each other and they're interacting together, that would be an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it is wild. The girls are going at it. They're grabbing their boobs. They're it's a funny scene too. It's realistic because he comes. He's like with the first girl. He comes, and now the second girl jumps on top. She's like, "I'm ready, I'm ready," and he's like, "Oh, give me a little time." And she's like, "It's just a funny scene, but also super hot." That it's just like with her sitting on his face, facing the other girl while she's riding, and they're all completely naked, definitely one of the best nude scenes of 2017. Again, when I talk about trying to do a top 10 list for the year, it just gets, every week I get like, oh, geez, how am I going to do a top 10 list of the year? But I got to say, this has got to be considered, when all is said and done. It's on a major HBO show. Two girls, very graphic, and
super graphic.
Scene goes on for 2 minutes. So it's Insecure, second season, 4th episode, aired Sunday night. If you haven't seen it, come to our website and check it out. I highly recommend this skinner-racial threesome. You're going with, it's kind of like an Eiffel Tower, but we could maybe come up with something
else, because the Eiffel Tower is known for... That's just what it's called when it's two guys, but the girls are simulating that act. So we're going to have to think of something else fancy.
All right, well, we'll come on.
I
have my crack staff on it, and I know by the time the Anatomy Awards come, we'll come up with something really great for that.
I'm almost thinking like just a straight triangle, because it's a threesome, so there's 3 sides. I don't know, it might be too basic. We could come up with something more clever. Okay, I'm going to put my thinking cap on.
Yeah. Any of you listeners out there, if you have suggestions, please hit us up.
Yes.
Here at the Mr. Skin Podcast, because we would love to give it a name, because that is definitely going to win an Anatomy Award.
Yeah, leave us a voicemail, 484 Skin Pod, with suggestions for this female Eiffel Tower, please.
Yeah, so it'd be guy on back, one girl sitting on his face, facing the other girl who's riding him, and they're kind of kissing and enjoying the moment. What is that position? A Eiffel Tower? Whatever you guys come up with, we'll make it work. But hit us up in voicemail. We'll let you know what we come up with. Okay, so Andrew, I have some fun nudity nuggets for you. Oh, wait a second. Andrea, we have a new feature at the Mr. Skin Podcast.
Apparently. What the hell is going on,
Yeah,
Skin?
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't even tell you about this. This is going to be fun. So, one of the things we were talking about with our podcast is people are always saying to me, I love when people ask you actresses and you can, off the top of your head, tell them, where they've been naked, how far in the movie, and all that stuff. So we were talking about how we could. Yeah. It's hard to do with a podcast because you can't take live phone calls, or at least we can at this point. So we, and of course we had to get Dixieland Jazz into the thing. And we got our skin staff here at lunch. Everyone yelled Wheel of Skin. And CP, the EP, put this together. So basically what we're going to do is he's just going to randomly spin the Wheel of Skin, and whatever actress comes out, he's just going to pick one. He's just going to say it. I'll answer it, and I'll let you know where you can find her naked. So that'll be the bit. We'll see how it goes. If people dig it, we'll continue to do it. If they hate it, we'll stop it. But
how can anyone hate you doing you?
Yeah, it's the Wheel of Skin, and he's going to pull up a random actress at the website to ask me about, and we'll talk about her. So CP, spin the Wheel of Skin.
All right, we've got Lucy Liu.
Ooh, Andrea, you know who Lucy Liu is, don't you?
Of course I do. Lucy Liu. I'm already liking this Wheel of Spin because it's just so not kind of current. She's not in anything right now. So yeah, take us through.
No, that's a great one. I mean, remember when she was Ling Wu on Ally McBeal? That was yeah, she was really hot. And then, of course, she was in Charlie's Angels and looking ridiculously good. But I think those are her two biggest things. She was also in one of the Kill Bill movies. So
yes.
But yeah, and actually, what is she doing now? Do we know what is that? What's that? Is Elementary the show she's on? Does anyone know? I think it's Elementary. No
idea.
It's on CBS. I think she's on that show. Yes, I think that's still going, by the way. It's been on for quite a while, and it's, I think, pretty popular show. It's just we don't get nude scenes from it, so I don't know a ton about it, but it's a worldwide popular show. But I think it's still going, and she's on it, and that's pretty awesome. But let's get to the important stuff that guys want to know is, has Lucy Liu ever done a nude scene? What would you say, Andrew? Do you think she has?
No.
Oh, I have good nudes for you.
Oh, yes. Okay, tell me all about it.
She's been naked 4 times. If I had to say the best movie she's been naked, way back in 1997, right when she was starting on Ally McBeal, she did a movie called City of Industry with Harvey Keitel. And about 47 minutes in, she's playing a stripper up on stage. And this is the 20th skiniversary of this great nude scene, by the way. So that's a great one to bring up. But yes, City of Industry, where she's a stripper, is probably my favorite. She also did this weird movie called Flypaper the same year, where I don't even know who the guy was she was having sex with, but they were in a like a pool, a concrete pool, but the water had all been drained out of it, and they're on the bottom of the pool, and they had snakes like slithering around right around them while they were having sex. It's a really weird scene. You got to check it out. It's called Flypaper from 1997. But those 2 movies are the go-to movies. She also did a movie called Rise Blood Hunter about 10 years ago. But Flypaper and City of Industry are the Lucy Liu picks. So if you're a fan of Lucy Liu, and she just came up on The Wheel of Skin, definitely check those movies out. But so we'll see. The Wheel of Skin, we're gonna try to do it, and he's just gonna randomly, gonna randomly spin that, and I'll come up with an actress and talk about it. Sorry I didn't know about her current TV stuff too much, but
who cares?
I'll always know their nudity. I'm not always up to date on what television show everyone's in, but whatever.
Nor am I.
Yeah,
but you said she's been nude 4 times?
Yeah, 4 times in her career.
Damn, okay. So. Who knew? All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Very good to know.
All right, so let's get back to our nudity nuggets, because yesterday, Sunday, was a really big day for us. It was the 35th anniversary of Fast Times at Ridgemont High coming out. It hit theaters August 13th of 1982. And we consider, well, you know my feeling on Phoebe Cates as far as nude scenes go, but it was also probably the greatest teen sex comedy of all time for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely.
It really is, it's a Hollywood classic. And the movie, everyone thinks, or in my world, it's Phoebe Cates, but think about this thing about the movie. Like, everything about it worked. It had the music, Cars music and all the other great soundtrack from that, the comedy, the dramatic parts. Almost every single scene in this movie is legendary. People remember it. I mean, Spicoli, all the funny stuff in the mall, all of that. So Cameron Crowe wrote the script. It was based on a book. So when he was 22, he posed. Now this is amazing. He posed as undercover for a year as a high school student. I guess he looked real young and was able to pull it off. And he had been writing for Rolling Stone at the time, so he did a book based on this experience, and then the book was turned into this movie. And Amy Heckerling directed it, and she's the one that made Clueless a few years later. That is another incredible classic teen comedy.
Yeah.
But it did not have the nudity of Fast Times, so I can't give it as much love as I do Fast Times.
Could you have imagined, though, if like Alicia Silverstone and whatever the other girls' names were did get naked in that movie? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it was a classic. But anyway, so Fast Times, think of this cast. It had. And I think I read an article where they were saying that the reason they were able to get all these young stars is they weren't doing real serious teen movies then, and all these people were available. They were these young, good actors like Sean Penn,
right?
Phoebe Cates, Jennifer Jason Leigh,
amazing,
Judge Reinhold, Forrest Whitaker, Anthony Edwards, Eric Stoltz, Nicolas Cage even had a small part in this. All of them are in Fast Times, so it's pretty impressive how all those people went on to great. Most of them went on to great careers, and they also, the way they kind of handled teen sex, they really did it right. It's not depicted like it typically is in teen sex comedies. Like Jennifer Jason Leigh, she lies about her age to have sex with an older guy. Not something you probably do much in movies today, but that's realistic. That's, she loses her virginity and then has to have an abortion. I mean, that's all the kind of heavy shit that was in Fast Times, yet it's still a genius comedy movie.
Right.
think about like Judge Reinhold gets caught jacking off to the one person he most would not want to get caught by, which I guess all us guys probably can relate to. Yeah. So basically, the movie was very true to life, painful, funny, whatever. But just for what I do for a living, I had to bring up 35th anniversary of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's a classic on many levels. Huge fans.
35. That's nuts.
Yeah, I know. And then they did I think it was at the New York Post, they did a thing where they showed the cast then and now, and it's really cool to see what they look like. I mean, you know a lot of these people, so it's not it's
so
not crazy.
Shocking.
Yeah, it's not so shocking. But the one guy who played Mike Damone, Robert Romanus, was just, to me, the one that looked the most different, but I think he was one of the older actors on the show. But he was the one that really, I was like, holy Jesus, he got old. But everyone else, you know, you kind of, you know what Sean Penn looks like, and Phoebe Cates still looks good. And I think that Robert Romanus was Robert De Niro's nephew, I think, in real life, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the case. So anyway, that is my little ode to Fast Times, and they celebrated their 35th anniversary, so wanted to bring that up. Very timely. Right. Now, one other thing I wanted to share, this is really cool. So there was a big... Do you remember, or did you see in the news last week, there was this thing where this BBC anchor woman is doing the news, and over her shoulder, some employee on a TV, you couldn't tell what it was at first glance, but you could see nudity. Like, in other words, some guy was watching some porn on his TV, and it became a big viral video, and it was all over the news.
No, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So this was a big deal. So it's a BBC news anchor. Over her shoulder, one of the technicians behind her is watching a nude scene or nudity or porn, whatever it is. So we find out about it, of course, and we're like, oh, wow. And what happens? Our crack staff here at the Mr. Skin Labs discovers, all we need to do is take a little look-see at it. And lo and behold, we figured out that the guy was watching. We knew precisely what he was watching. It was
gosh, that's awesome.
Season 6, Episode 6 of True Blood. It was Anna Paquin doing this amazing undressing in front of this guy who's tied up on the show. So we immediately, on our Twitter feed, say, hey, there was a thing about the BBC employee, so we did a Twitter thing, and we also tagged Anna Paquin and said, hey, your scene was in that big viral vid or big controversy. So next thing you know, Anna Paquin chimes in to all her fans, and she's like saying that now that I know, this is her on Twitter, she goes, now that I know what you guys were talking about, this is some of the funniest shit I've seen in a while. Thanks for the giggle. She was like, whatever. And then people start, saying to her, like they're having fun with her, all her fans. And she goes, just to clarify, I didn't even know about, it's called BBC Boobgate, is what the hashtag is. It was my loyal pro-nude chickmates over at Mr. Skin that brought it to my attention.
Oh, yeah, I love her.
So she was, it gets better. So then,
it gets better than that.
So some of her friends, this one kind of dorky guy goes like, with friends like those, she's like, he was trying to say like, oh, like we're assholes for pointing out that it was her scene. And she goes, hey, and this is her tweet. Now, this is really cool. She goes, hey, I have nothing but love for at Mr. Skin. They celebrate female nudity on film and TV and never say anything mean. What's not to love? How cool is that?
OMG. That is like so fucking amazing. She is an Oscar-winning actress. Like, this needs to be on the front page of Mr. Skin, like a screenshot of this. That is so badass. And the fact that not only are you guys having a Twitter conversation, but she's defending you and loving the fact that you pointed it out. You not only recognize the clip, but but showed everyone who it was. I just love how proud of it she is, and that she's such a supporter, and that she understands what you're doing. Because so many people take nudity the wrong way. It's like, no, we're celebrating it.
Exactly. And I want to point out, Andrea, that she is not only an Academy Award winner, she is an Anatomy Award winner also. So, yeah. And
much more important. I'm sorry. Pardon my slip.
I love that. I mean, we've had actresses. Sarah Silverman said nice things about us. I talked to you about what Alexandra Daddario said. Eva Moore. We've had some very nice things. But this is when it's fun, because all we were pointing out is there's this gorgeous actress. We know what it's from. All we do is sharing that information, and she was cool about it. And even E! Online picked up the story and said Anna Paquin was amused that her True Blood sex scene was in this big viral video, and they pointed out that it was the sleuthy detectives at MrSkin.com that the experts that called out what the scene was. So kind of a cool thing. Like those are one of those things where you never know when you put that out there what's going to happen, but we got some really nice publicity for it, and nice publicity, like, where a feel good publicity type of thing.
Absolutely.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's badass. Yeah, you couldn't have scripted that better. It's perfect.
Yep. Oh no, believe me, that was really cool. The people at the office here thought it was really neat too. So anyway, yes, and by the way, Anna Paquin now following us at Mr. Skin on Twitter, which is very nice of her. So she will get every nip slip update. She will know what's going on in the world of nudity. So,
and I gotta say, you guys do a good job on social media with the constant updates. I love following you on all my accounts. So
cool, yeah. Well, it's not me. I have a great team that does this on my behalf, and on all levels, Facebook, all the social media, and really, really great team. Not to mention all the people that work on the website, and people that are working here on the podcast. I'm very lucky to have the team I have, believe me. So you couldn't see all this nudity without the Mr. Skin team. I may know about it, but if to actually see it and it work on your computer, you have to have people that know what they're doing, and luckily I do. So
trust me, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I hear you. So hey, one last thing I wanted to point out for this week is I won't do it every week, but there's always some really good Instagram pics from celebrities that we just kind of like, they come across our desk, no pun intended, and we, we're always checking them out. And eventually I have to share some of these, because some of these, it just gets so good. But anyway, so I got to say, like, people ask me, like, how's Instagram and social media, how's that been for my business, as far as like the fact that actresses have their own accounts and could do their own, they could show skin whenever they want. And I got to say, it's been really good for what we do. Like, in other words, it doesn't take away from what we do, because you don't get to see celebrities. How can I say this? That like, what happens is these Instagram accounts, they just build up these huge followings. So there becomes a lot of interest in the actress, and then they'll post a bikini shot or an underwear shot or whatever it is, occasionally a nude shot, but most of the time it's just looking beautiful. And all that does is make people want to go see them naked. So where do they want to go? To MrSkin.com. So we get so many visitors from these actresses. They'll see a bikini shot, and then they want to immediately come to our site to say, oh my God, I want to see more. She looks so good in a bikini. What does she look like without a bikini? And I got to say that this fandoms, these big Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts of these actresses, I think has been really good for our business. And we talk about this a lot at the office, but I think it's pretty clear that's been a good thing for us.
Excellent. Good news.
Yeah. But that being said, I wanted to share a couple of these recent Instagram posts and get your opinion. So I have 3 before we go. I just wanted to share that I thought were really cool over the last couple of weeks. So one is this Kylie Jenner, and I know like
next
haters. Yeah, I get it. But she posts this pic, and I at my age, like I know who she is, but I'm not like in that world where I'm following every moment of Kylie Jenner's life. But I got to say, that body's the real deal. I mean, say what you want about Kylie Jenner, but look,
what do you mean the
that's
real
a perfect
deal?
example.
She's nothing but plastic surgery, man.
Well,
like, if it were real, I would appreciate it. But you know what? It's an incredible body. I just wish she hadn't distorted
She's done an
herself.
incredible job with her plastic surgery. Let me say that. I'm blown away. This picture she posted, I was like,
it's
holy
pretty
geez.
fucking hot.
Now that makes me, and again, that's like an example of why it's good for our business, because I see that, and then what's the first thing I'm thinking is, I want to see her nude, and I think that's what happens with a lot of guys that see these pictures. So anyway, that was one, and now here's one that I could say is what happens when you are just a beautiful model that gets into your late 40s. Elizabeth Hurley posted
now we're
this,
talking.
Yeah, she was like in this leopard one piece, and she, just out of the blue for no reason, posted this 4-second video dancing in a leopard one-piece bathing suit, and I was just, holy jeez, is that ridiculous?
Dude, now she is the epitome of like a divine feminine sex goddess to me. She has always had that, je ne sais quoi, something about her that I just find so ridiculously drop dead sexy. I want to be her. I want to fuck her. I want to be her friend. Like everything about her I love. And when you see her just in her natural essence, like shimmying and shaking in this really seductive bathing suit, this is what I'm talking about, Skin. Yes. All day to Elizabeth Hurley. She just keeps getting better and better, which is incredible.
Yeah. And I think about when I saw her in like Austin Powers.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years ago was that? Like 20 years ago or something? It was
like 95, 97.
She still looks amazing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, by the way, she's, if you saw her on Instagram and wanted to know if she's been naked 9 times. Elizabeth Hurley, I know. She's from the UK, so she's not too afraid to do nudity.
Love her. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. But, so last but not least, I wanted to, share is, this is why I think this was Snapchat, not Instagram, but whatever. Mm-hmm. It's Whitney Cummings. She's just posted. You could explain this maybe a little better than I, but she's in her closet looking at all her shoes, and somehow I don't know who snapped that picture, but if it was a guy, lucky him. She unzipped her dress so that it was open down to her upper thigh, had a thong on, and is just like facing away from the camera, looking at all her shoes, and then just saying to us in the caption, "Does this fit?" And for some reason, to me, this is like one of the hottest things I've seen. And she's never done a nude scene, but Whitney Cummings is someone I think is really super hot.
She is super hot. She's super smart, and I'm a big fan of hers. So yeah, the dress she's wearing, it's a zipper all the way down from the neck, all the way down to the bottom seam. And what I'm gathering from it is her ass is so juicy and delicious that she actually can't zip it up over her ass.
Oh, I got you.
And she's like, does this fit? Because it's clearly too small, because her butt has just gotten too wonderful.
Yes. Well, I got to tell you, I just thought this is one of those, because our writers and our content people, they're always in our chat or sending me stuff. And I saw this one last week. I was like, holy geez, I got to talk about this on the podcast. But yeah, it's Whitney Cummings from her Snapchat, not Instagram, but really hot picture. And unfortunately, she's never done a nude scene, but my God, that thong scene or that thong picture is pretty amazing.
It's very amazing. I mean, yeah, good work.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good. So anyway, Andrea, that is another great week. What number was this podcast?
This is episode 58, and it has been absolutely fantastic. We talked about so much today. I didn't even know, and who knew that Lucy Liu has been nude 4 times.
That's important.
That's crazy.
And by the way, episode 69 is right around the corner. I'm going to have to, for episode 69, I'm going to have to do the greatest 69 scenes in the history of movies.
We have to. Yeah. Please.
CP, remember that one. Okay.
I also think it was so cool that we figured out, we're asking, is Anna Paquin Mr. Skin's biggest fan and #1 defender of all celebrity nudity? I mean, how cool was that?
That was really neat. And believe me, nobody's a bigger fan. We've been ever since, well, we've known about her for a while, but True Blood, she was sexy as all get out, and we were really bummed when True Blood went away. But what I loved about her in True Blood was she was the star of the show.
Yes.
She got naked just as much as the extras that showed up, and she did not shy away from nudity, and that was one of the reasons the show was so awesome.
Absolutely. And also, I want to remind the listeners, we're taking 3-way female Eiffel Tower sex position name suggestions. So give us a buzz at 484-SKIN-POD and leave us your voicemail with your description.
Awesome, Andrea. Okay, well, I know we got a lot of... we'll have a lot of stuff. I actually held back some stuff this week because I didn't think I could fit it into the episode, so I got a lot of stuff for next week.
So it's going to be a big one. Then.
Yeah. Not to mention all the nudity from between now and next week. So we'll have plenty to talk about for
Can't
episode
wait.
59.
All right. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll do it again.
You got it, Andrea. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye.
This concludes another scintillating episode of the Mr. Skin Podcast. Subscribe to the Mr. Skin Podcast in iTunes and never miss a show. Thanks for listening.